All right, we're live.
Are
So,
we?
yeah, I just hit, I don't know, I hit live. And it says 0 viewers, and it's 10 seconds live. So, are we live? Do you see us up?
Nothing's come up on this thing.
Oh. Did I not? Is it not going to the right outlets?
Oh yeah, we're live.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Welcome to the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. One of these days we will have a title of epic proportions. I don't know what it's going to be called or why it's going to be called or if it's going to be called. But one day this show will have a title. Manny, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I woke up. I woke up.
As Marcus said, we don't actually currently have a name, and as Eric said on the podcast, if you managed to listen or listen to all of it already by now, because it is 3 hours long, we're running a somewhat of a competition to decide our name.
Yeah, decide a name. I have nothing that has popped to my mind. I think I had a few things, and I've already forgotten them. So I don't think that's too good of a name. If I've already forgotten the name, it was like, oh, this would be great. Nope, got it already. So the idea of this show is to cover professional wrestling in like small recaps in short, just to maybe kind of shorten our longer show on Saturdays, or just to give an extra video. We're going to cover Takeover, Raw today, pretty much, and just pretty much the happenings of wrestling. And the show should only be like 20 minutes. And I think we wasted 5 minutes of talking about nonsense and trying to figure out how to start this show. So I'm going to kick it off with our first topic. And I'm going to ask Manny this question. Sunday was NXT TakeOver in your house. What were your overall feelings about that show?
I thought it was a very solid show. It wasn't the best takeover I've ever seen, but it was a very solid show. A lot of storytelling going on, and a lot of good matches. Like not out knocking it out of the park type of matches, but solid builds, solid stories going on, and I really enjoyed that. I got my mind changed about Damian Priest.
Oh, what? So what did you think of Damian Priest before tonight? I didn't notice.
I didn't think he was that good. I didn't think he was that good of a wrestler. I haven't seen any of his work in it or Ring of Honor or anything. But like from what I saw so far, before Takeover, it was like, why is everyone so high on this man? Like I haven't seen anything he's done that is remotely spectacular. And then I saw him work with Finn. Maybe it was Finn. Who knows? Because if you watch enough of the media stuff Triple H did, he was like, "Oh, it's just Finn. He delivers all the time." but I definitely saw something out of Damian Priest which I haven't seen before since I've seen him.
To me, when I look at Damian Priest, it's the updated version of Baron Corbin. Like Baron Corbin, they're like both big guys, and they always advertise Baron Corbin as being quick and all that, and you know, original Baron Corbin back when he was the I guess biker. I don't know what his actual gimmick was, but he was like a biker dude with slick back hair or something. And I feel like Damian Priest is that with more athleticism and overall better arsenal of moves. One of the moves he took when he fell on top of those stairs looked like it was hella painful.
It sounded like he died, or his back snapped.
Yeah, it was like he's not okay. Like we should stop this match right now. For me, I thought Takeover was a good show. Like you said, it wasn't as good as most takeovers, but the takeovers have had such a high standard for both NXT UK and normal, I guess US NXT. I don't know, just NXT. Most of the wrestling on the show was really good, and I think it's just because that crowd atmosphere is missing for NXT. Like I feel like all the wrestlers brought like their A game, and no one like phoned it in, or there weren't any bad matches. I felt like on the show.
I might say I wasn't highly sold on the backlot brawl.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
But I because there was a lot of distracting things for me on that, but it was more production than it was the match. But like the shaky cameras, the lights of all the cars, it was really distracting and took away from what you were viewing. But like of all the cinematic matches, where do you place this?
I place it, for me, it's probably last, but because it was like, I enjoyed the aesthetic of it. I enjoyed the ring surrounded by the cars. I enjoyed the entrances of the monster truck compared to the Lamborghini. I like Velveteen's look and aesthetic. Like, all the aesthetics was cool, but the match itself wasn't like, it wasn't as coherent. It was mostly like, it reminded me of an old like Sting or Jeff Jarrett match where they just walk around the ring and hit each other. There were not really many wrestling moves. There were random bumps and shenanigans. Like, I feel like it could have been better. And it seemed like really choppily edited. Like, there were moments when it'd be like, oh, cut here, cut here, cut here. And I feel like it may have been overproduced, but it was solid, but it probably would rank last as the cinematic match. Like, I've considered Gargano and Ciampa just a step ahead of this.
Yeah, I didn't even factor in that match, to be honest. I was only thinking of the Boneyard, the Firefly, and the Stampede. I didn't even factor in the Gargano match.
It's definitely a cinematic match in which, they had it in the arena. One thing I thought, I didn't like I feel like there shouldn't have been commentary. I would have just liked the ambient sounds of the backlot of like horns blowing and people yelling, kind of like in like a Fight Club kind of mentality, maybe. But it was okay. And where do you see Velveteen Dream going from here?
I don't 100% see him going to Raw or SmackDown. Like, I thought he was, like, in the moment, but I think I think Cole is going to lose that title eventually, and then that's when Dream is going to go back for the title again. I definitely think Karrion Kross is their next guy that they want to have the title.
Yeah. Since you moved on to Karrion Kross, whoever that. What did you think of him and Ciampa?
It was okay. I was expecting more, but then like I haven't watched any like when he was Killer Kross, to be honest, when he was in Impact. Yeah. So I didn't know what to expect, and all I've seen of him was beating up Leon Ruff. So
and basically he treated Ciampa like he would treat Leon Ruff, except for Ciampa got a little bit more offense. And I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed what they were trying to do. They were trying to make him into a similar to that of Brock Lesnar, in which he's just a dominant force and he seems indestructible. And I thought they did a good job of telling that story. Ciampa getting a little offense in was nice, but I think they really are going to treat him like a star. And I would like his next opponent to be Finn Balor. I feel like that would be really good, unless Walter comes back and we can finish whatever they were doing.
I don't think we're getting a Walter match anytime soon. So
yeah.
Karrion, keep calling him Killian. Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor would probably be the next best match to build up to. But they're both mystic. They're not mystical, but like they're both got these like hazy kind of paths, which
this demon
for a good
this demon kind of religious type. I don't know, a thing. And I would like who was that? There's somebody else that popped in my head in the show. Forget it. I don't care about
Keith
that person. I guess we can talk about the Keith Lee Gargano match. I thought it was good. In fact, one of the things that In Your House I liked is that they used the whole In Your House aesthetic of like the throwback of whether it's Todd Pettengill, Doc Hendricks on the wall, selling Ico Pro, Adam Cole, who I don't feel like should be selling muscle protein. he's a very small guy. He's ripped, but he's very small.
Yeah, but the comparison was Bret Hart, so Bret Hart wasn't that big either.
Compared to Adam Cole, he looks like a monster. Because I saw the side by sides. It was like, that's a monster. If Adam Cole fought him, he's fighting Andre the Giant. But so I enjoyed all this text of that. And then the Gargano entrance of coming through the house, which was telling the story of that. But what the one part I didn't like was the blatant key to it that he showed to the camera that he put in his pants that we knew was going to play into a part later in the show. It was just too blatant, and whenever you get a special guest referee in a match, they always check the tights and stuff to make sure nobody brings in the weapons. I felt like the referee should have checked him this time because he did a blatant move. This isn't like a weird Regal. I'm hiding my brass knuckles before the match. He blatantly came out that room and was like, "Whoops, I'm going to use this later." So what did you feel about this match?
Obviously, the spot of the night was the pounce through the COVID.
Oh yeah,
the COVID. What do you call them?
Plexiglass.
Plexiglass.
Yeah.
Which I always enjoy that spot when he did it to Adam Cole, when he did it to Gargano. It just shows how much of a beast of a man Keith Lee is. And he should have the world title by now. I don't think we should be waiting for him to lose the NXT North American title. I don't think he should be holding it. I think he should be the NXT champion right now.
So, what would be your plan for him? Well, I'll go with my favorite spot. My favorite spot was the curl when he was curling him up, which is a combination. I was just like, that's just strong. It just looks cool. Like, I feel like it's a combination of Gargano doing like sit-ups on him and him pulling him up, but it just looked really cool for him to be curling Gargano. And I agree, he needs to he's a good champion. He's a good North American champion, but I feel like he should be the heavyweight champion. Whether it's he defeats Adam Cole or he moves on to one of the other shows, Raw or SmackDown.
Well, I feel like as Keith Lee is a face, he should be the one that beats Adam Cole next, given that Velveteen can't face him anymore, and then Adam Cole eventually moves on, and then that's where you have Karrion Kross, because I don't think heel versus heel matches really go down that well anyway. Yeah,
that's true as well. I believe for Karrion Kross to get the belt, they do have to take it off of Adam Cole. I know this Wednesday, the Undisputed Era. O'Reilly and Fish, not O'Reilly and Fish, but Roderick and Fish have been abducted by Dexter Lumis, and Adam Cole and Dexter Lumis are fighting on Wednesday. I don't know if this is the prelude.
Well, to be fair, he did draw that. He did draw that he was going to do that on the NXT.
It's premeditated. It's a premeditated crime, and I would recommend. All right, we got one viewer. Oh, wait, it might be you.
I think it's me.
I was like, yes, we made it. Someone is up at 11 a.m. But, so I don't see him as being his next opponent. Like, Sam Shaw, that's the TNA name. But Dexter Lumis and Adam Cole, I don't feel like it's the big opponent. I feel like they need to figure out a way. And I think they are going to figure out a way to transition Adam Cole to something else. What I want from NXT is Adam Cole to get more TV and mic time. Like, he's rarely actually on the show. He's like 10% of us, like maybe 2% of the show. Oh, this is Eric. Eric's our one viewer. Oh, he's our second viewer.
That's probably because he was social distancing. So like he still contributed to the show, whereas like other people just social distance and then didn't contribute to their shows.
But even then, I feel like he's like one of the people who he's still not seen as much. Like he's not. I don't feel like he's been featured as much as Keith Lee or even Finn Balor. Like they had that brief feud or whatnot, but I feel like Adam Cole is on the show, but he's not as featured as much as even Roderick Strong, who's out there like every week wrestling. Like it's very rare when you get an Adam Cole match. In fact, since being a champion for a year, I think he's had like 3 matches. I haven't looked it up. I don't have the facts, but I think he's had 3 matches, all of them title defenses in a span of 12 months. All right. So what? Go ahead.
Oh no! I'm just like, do they reclaim the prophecy, or is it? I think it's time for them to move to like Raw or SmackDown, the whole of the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, I think the Undisputed Era on NXT has come to an end, in which it's time to like build on the new people and Karrion Kross, whether they decide to keep Keith Lee there or not, or all the many other people, because they have a really talented roster of people that are just kind of just floating in the mid card and doing things. Like even Drake Maverick has made a name for himself. You got the entire cruiserweight division there. Eric's boy Cameron Grimes, Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Killian Dane, all these guys that you can actually use and either elevate to like a mid card to the North American level or even to the world title level.
But that's definitely what I said on the last podcast. I think with all on Saturday was there's too many main eventers at NXT right now. Like if you look at their roster, there's too many main event guys. There's no in the middle guys at the moment, and I think some of these guys need to move on.
Yeah, that and build a tag division. Like I feel like they have tag teams, but they're not really building upon like where it can go. I feel like Riddle and Dunn was doing that when they were there. They had like the Grizzled Young Veterans, but then the pandemic happened and kind of ruined all their plans. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Got a burp, man. It's the worst salad I've ever eaten in my life. It's making me burp all day. I hate salad. I'm done. I'm going back to eating unhealthy. That's it. Now let's talk about the main event, triple threat match: Ripley, Flair, and the new women's champion Io Shirai. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I actually really appreciated this match. Like it was the best match of the night. Like given that it was a tape show, I think it was right to end on this, not the backlot brawl. Mm-hmm. This was the better title match. Everyone looked good in it. No, I couldn't say anyone was like buried in it. Yeah, Rhea took the pin, but it was like a strong pin. It wasn't like, it was like she was she jobbed out.
Yeah, I felt like when I'm taking from the storyline, one, I called it on the show. I knew Io was winning, and I feel like it's the right person to win. And what I got from the match is that, or even the build-up, I feel like they might be turning Rhea Ripley back to being a heel like she originally was back in the UK before she came over. Because when she lost to Charlotte in WrestleMania, in the video pack, she seemed very frustrated. And then she loses again after getting kneed in the head by Io Shirai in that moonsault. That was one of the most vicious knees by accident ever.
Even the moonsault off the house, I'm pretty sure she got Charlotte in the face with a knee.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Io's going to get you. It doesn't matter how it works. Io's going to get you. But yeah, I thought this was the best match of the show, and it should have closed the show. And overall, I thought, really good show. Fun show. Worth the watch. It was very quick. It was like 2 hours and some change. And I thought it was really well done for an in-your-house show.
Yeah, as I said earlier at the top of this, it was really good storytelling. So like where they're going, bits and pieces of where their plan is going forward. So other than Velveteen Dream, which is a mystery.
Shut up! I can as much as I want, Eric. He's in the chat, and he was like, "Stop umming." That's what I do.
I didn't know.
Barack Obama ums.
He put that in the group text, and I don't actually know who that was directed at.
Oh, it's probably me, because I'm not a host. I don't think the hosting duty suits me well. It's not something I like to do. Shout out to Weston B. Moore, who's also in the chat. So, as I'm more self-conscious about my ums, let's go. How did you feel about the finish? Since Charlotte had been pinned in this triple threat.
She could have, but for me, Charlotte, like she said on Raw, she doesn't need a title to make her relevant. And there's a few wrestlers out there that they need to realize that, they don't need a belt to be relevant. Mm-hmm. It's like when you look at The Undertaker, he doesn't need to be world champion for you to realize he's The Undertaker.
No, it's just who he is. And it's kind of like in the currently, the wrestler I would say who doesn't need a belt is someone like Randy Orton. He has no reason to have a belt. He's going to get a reaction no matter what he does when he comes out. And we're going to exceed this 20-minute time limit because already 20 minutes in the show, and we haven't even talked about Raw. But, Charlotte is becoming one of those characters in which she doesn't need a title, but her character is always obsessed with the title, it seems like. And she's always going to be in the title picture. Like, I don't see her just floating around like Undertaker and just like Teddy Long 6 Charlotte Flair on you. Instead of, like, oh, player, you messed up for the last time. You get Charlotte Flair. That doesn't even ring off the tongue. They're like, oh, you got to wrestle Charlotte Flair. Damn it. If I say one more time. Fuck Eric. Fuck Eric.
Eric's derailed the show.
Yeah, he's ruined the show. This was my show. This is our show. And Eric has ruined it. By making me self-conscious about saying a million times. So, with that being said, let's move on to Monday Night Raw. No.
You mean Monday Night Charlotte?
Monday Night Charlotte, where it's all Charlotte all the time. So, I can blend our next two discussions together. What do you feel about this Charlotte on NXT main eventing, and then the first person you pretty much see when you come to Monday Night Raw in the opening segment? I mean, it's Asuka first, but
The thing is, I don't see what people's problem is with this bit, because she is technically still a Raw superstar.
Yeah, this is her show.
This is her show, so
NXT
you can't,
was a hobby.
You can't fault her for this. Was it right for her to go into a main event with the Raw Women's Champion? Yeah, who else was there? Maybe Liv Morgan. I don't want to watch that again.
Come on, Natty.
I don't want to watch Natty. Do you want to watch Natty? I don't want to watch Natty even in just anything.
Natty is the best in the... No. I don't want to see Natty. There wasn't anybody there. Nia Jax is already being rejected for killing people, and they seem to have moved past that. I thought it was an interesting twist that Bayley and Sasha had abused their power to show up on the show of being tag team champions. But the one thing on Raw and all WWE program that I'm getting tired of is the show starting and there's some makeshift tag match that happens out of the most random situations.
But do you not feel that the problem with that is because there's no authority figure? Like, at least I want to know so-and-so has set this up. I don't like it just happening organically, like you go to commercial and then, oh, we're in a tag match.
Yeah, me too. I hate it. I hate it when they're just like, makes it tag. And let alone, I'm so sick of triple threat matches. I've gotten like a million of them in the past week. Let alone is NXT main event. We had something on the NXT show, and I feel like everybody's doing way too many triple threat matches. Let's just get some regular matches out there.
Well, the problem I have with the triple threat tag is that it varies every time you see it. Sometimes you get all three in the ring from each team. Yep. Sometimes you've got just two, and then you have to tag the other team in. There's no solid rule of where people want to go in this. Yeah,
they're just doing it, and they do it. And so, bringing this up, we're going to fast forward to pretty much Lashley and Drew. What did you feel about what they did, the heavyweight title picture?
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Like, it's a bit all over the place. Like, you had the tag teams going at each other. You don't know where MVP's sitting in all of this. Like, he's trying to go over his boy, but then you've got Montez and you've got Dawkins that are chatting hate towards the man.
Yep.
It's all over the place. This whole
storyline. They literally brought the entire locker room in and said, "We're going to do all this one shot." Like, they had the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders do their segment. And then they moved to the Then they moved to the main event in which the Viking Raiders are coming to fight MVP and MVP and Lashley in the main event. For whatever reason that was happening, and you have everybody outside. And then at one point it looked like they were holding somebody, Drew McIntyre or somebody to hold somebody back. And then there was a Claymore kick or MVP kicked. It was just all over the place. But I still enjoyed it. Like, it was one of those things where I enjoyed everybody.
It's just like, I enjoyed it, but then you look at it, it's just like, they could do so much better for Bobby Lashley in this.
Yeah.
Like, you basically gave him one of the worst storylines, which was a hit with the love triangle, but
Mm-hmm.
but like now you're giving him this title run where it almost feels like it's more about MVP than it is about Bobby Lashley.
Well, I think because MVP is doing really well on the mic, and that it is overshadowing that he is the manager of Bobby Lashley, and that he's currently wrestling all the time as well. He's not just talking. It's not a Paul Heyman situation in which he's standing there, Bobby's flexing, or Brock is flexing, and you know that Brock is the muscle. MVP is talking trash and then going into these matches. But I feel like it's the best run Bobby Lashley has had in WWE his entire career, whether he was there the first run and coming back from his second run right now. So I'm intrigued about the match, but after watching this week, I see no chance in Bobby winning.
Well, I still think there's more going on with this Lana thing as well. So because like there was that interview backstage with her during the match where it was like Lana what, and then Lana's going on and focusing on the year 2020 being the year of Lana, and it was just like what is going on with this character?
Who is declaring in 2020 is their year? It's one of the worst years in the history of the planet Earth. And she's like, this is the year of Lana.
And it doesn't make sense because like what is her role in this whole situation, like going into the title match at Backlash? It doesn't really make much sense.
It's jealousy, but I honestly don't know, but I feel like all she's going to do is cost Bobby the match. That's the only role for this. And I think prolong this to probably until SummerSlam, where Lana is out the picture. And you may actually get a real match. But that's where I feel like it's going. And moving on to the main event, I mean, we could talk about Seth. And I feel like Seth and Rey Mysterio, their storyline was it was nothing new at it. It was more like, I'm going to retire Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio called him a son of a bitch. And we're in the same spot until next week.
Well, he called him a son of a bitch the moment he got on the screen. And then they went to commercial.
Hilarious. Son of a bitch was better than him damning him. But Rey Mysterio will retire next week. I feel like he's been retiring for 3 weeks. We
got a question from Wes.
Yes.
If no title run comes from this with Lashley, would you consider this a waste of time?
No, I feel like it built up his character. I think we will get eventually something out of this from Lashley. It's that the combination of him and MVP is working. I just feel like it's not his time right now. Like, I feel like this is all at the wrong time. Because if MVP... I don't feel like Lashley's winning at Backlash. And there are reports that Lesnar is probably returning for SummerSlam. Yeah. And Drew is in the middle of his title run. I don't feel like Lashley... He's just a fill-in equation. Unless we're getting Lashley and Lesnar of some kind or something unique in that vein. But I don't see Lashley getting the title right away. But in the long run, I feel like giving him a mouthpiece is the best thing for him. That's all I got for that. You got anything to add?
I totally agree. I feel like it isn't a waste of time because it's pushing Bobby back up to that level again where he was kind of stuck somewhere in the mid card with Rusev in that Rusev and Lana storyline and never really got out of it. So like, it's basically re-establishing him as a main event talent because he's got the look of a main event talent. He just needs to be pushed like a main event talent all the time. Yeah,
he looks like even though he's not doing that much and he isn't going to win, he still looks like more of a badass than what he did in his previous time in the company right now. Yeah, and I thought the full Nelson is a good addition, and I thought he was going to lock him in. And I thought Drew's work at the end when he was yelling, "I'll get you, Bobby Lashley, and you MVP, I'll kill you," and all, he's just really threatening his life. And I thought that was a good go-home promo for him, pretty much.
I just want to point out that the Street Profits are just really weak because they couldn't break it, just the two of them.
Well, it was telling that Bobby is really strong. Ruthless. Well, it looked like they didn't want to hurt their black brother. Come on, man. I don't want to have to put you down today. Come on, I don't want to have to hit you. Don't want to let this go. Or it could be playing the scenes that they set him up because they looked like they were intentionally holding him. So, moving on to the main event. There's that Charlotte again. And she's fighting Asuka in the main event in a match in a non-title match in which Asuka claims she has never beaten Charlotte. And I thought it was another good match between these two. At times there was a weird spot in which she was climbing up the plexiglass and it took forever for her to do the moonsault. Other than that, I thought it was flawless. Nia Jax trucks herself down there and costs Asuka the match, leading into their match with Backlash, giving Charlotte another victory over Asuka. How'd you feel about this?
Yeah, I have a feeling, like, we haven't seen the rest of the wrestling this week, but I have a feeling this is going to be the best match of the week. And that's even including that it had interference in it.
Better than AJ Styles Daniel Bryan on Friday.
Oh, yeah, but if we
they already lost it.
Yeah, but we haven't seen that. We're only going on hearsay that that's supposed to be amazing.
I can go on hearsay, and you just tell me Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are having a match for the Intercontinental title, and I'm already going like, that's gonna be a tough match to beat, even for the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Which we haven't covered, but like I know both of them are not very happy that this is being pitched as the greatest match of ever.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, you don't want that. Like, I understand both levels of it. I can understand the frustration of everybody else going, this is not going to be the greatest match ever. There are a million and millions of matches that have happened, and for you to declare that this one and guys in their 40s are about to have the greatest wrestling match ever is absolutely ludicrous. But on a business side, I'm selling most of my matches of this could be the greatest match ever. Please watch this show because it's just Backlash. This isn't a main show. So on the business side, I understand the building of that show, of calling it that. And they probably have the rights to this song, and they wanted to use it for something. To have to get the greatest show, like, we got to figure out one of these matches. Fuck it, throw it on Randy Orton at Edge. But I expect good things, and to me, even if the match doesn't live up to hype, I'm really happy with the promo work and the storytelling that both Edge, Orton, and even you threw in Christian this week incorporated into wrestling.
I think that's what makes wrestling, though, the actual storytelling to it. Otherwise, it's just two men fighting in their underpants.
Yeah, oiled up. As one time I described somebody when I was watching NXT UK pay-per-view, someone was like, and I decided to come in work late or something for that day, and they were like, "Oh, I heard you're coming in late because you wanted to watch a wrestling show, or you wanted to watch an oiled up man." And I was like, "Not just oiled up man, muscular oiled up European man."
I'm making it way worse than it actually is.
Yeah, just really, and I think I even expressed that Tyler Bate was one is a young boy, probably a teenager, and this is Tyler Bate or something like that. So this is really exciting for me. So with that being said, I can't even speak. With that being said, this can't be the greatest match of all time. Asuka and Charlotte did it, but Charlotte gets another pin, and because of this, it seems like the internet is set ablaze and found a new person to hate, and that is Charlotte Flair.
I feel like this is unjust because Charlotte delivers every time she's in the ring. Like you can't really go, "Oh, that was a really bad Charlotte match." When was the last time you ever said that without the other person being to blame?
Hey, it's been a while. It's actually been a while, and I feel like she's been for people to say they like, I really appreciate a workhorse, or I appreciate someone that puts on good matches, does solid promo work, and is there every day.
Yeah.
I feel like Charlotte Flair checks all those boxes, and she's getting unwarranted hate. I read a story earlier that sources close believe the absence of Roman Reigns is the reason why there's so much Charlotte hate, because people need to find another target to hate on in the WWE, because it just goes from one to the other. Whether you're hating John Cena, which transitioned to Roman Reigns, now we need to find somebody else to cure all that WWE anger, because there has to be a reason for this WWE anger, and Charlotte is that reason.
I don't think many people can actually hate Roman Reigns as much as they used to before. Like, yep. you can't hate a man that's doing cancer videos with kids. You just can't.
That's not true. LeBron James built a school, and people hate his guts. They hate his life. Like, he's done so much charity work and spoke out, but people hate his guts. I believe Tom Brady has donated money. I hate Tom Brady.
It's because people hate winners. Like, I hate Tom Brady, but that's because I was a Jets fan, and we never won against the Patriots.
And he's a cheater.
Very rarely did we beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's why I hate him.
Yeah, and number one, my main thing, Charlotte is a heel. You're supposed to hate her. In this modern time of wrestling heels and faces, it's really hard to find a heel that you actually hate. And Charlotte winning adds fuel to the fire of hate. I don't think that's their intent, their plan here. But for a modern heel, most heels get cheered. Like, you just go and be like, oh, that's really funny. Like, think of Chris Jericho on AEW. He's getting cheered. He's liked. He's loved. And because he's funny, because he's entertaining, because he does his job well. Whether you're The Rock or Steve Austin, they got turned into baby faces because they were really good heels. Same with Becky Lynch. And one way to do a heel, become a heel, I think this day in the modern culture, is just win all the time and be considered shoved in your throat, and you will naturally get that heat. Like, if a crowd was here, Charlotte would get booed out the building.
But they didn't necessarily do that with Roman, though, because they kept him face.
They
didn't turn him heel.
They never tried to do that. Like, John Cena and Roman were the examples of how to create a modern heel, but that was an accident. If they were following that blueprint, what could we do for them to get even angrier at Charlotte? Is just have her win all the time, and we see that that's angry people. And even in her promos lately, she's talking about how she's the best, no one's on her level, how she's gonna win, and she gets all this internet hate and all that. I appreciate good heel work, and I feel like she's doing good heel work and putting good in-ring work, and I feel like this hate that she's getting is unwarranted, and it shouldn't be happening. Nia Jax hate, on a separate hand, yeah, I understand that one. She's injuring people. That's understandable, but Charlotte is getting hate for being just good, it seems like.
Yeah, it definitely feels that she's getting hate for doing her job. It's not. I don't think she wants to necessarily be on all three shows all the time. It's The Office that clearly wanted to do that, and she's taking the brunt of it. But like, she's just there to do her job, and and she's being paid to do it. You can't hate on someone doing their job.
Yeah, and I feel like she's. Excuse me again. With her, oh man, I'm never salad. I don't know what it is. I'm blaming the soda I drank with the salad, probably. That was probably the unhealthy part. Yeah, so with Charlotte and her winning and being put over, they're telling a story with her beating Asuka over and over. That finish was weird because it looked like Asuka kicked out, but they're telling the story that Asuka can't beat Charlotte, and it seems like they're building to something. Nia Jax is a side thought according to the story, but they are building to something.
No, that kick out definitely looked like something JBL used to do, where JBL would kick out at 4, just to keep his heat. Like, oh yeah, you did completely knock me out.
Yeah, I was okay. Just the referee counted a little fast that time. Like, in my head, I was on 1.5 when I kicked out. So, yeah, I just don't understand the hate. And they say Charlotte hasn't lost. She just lost to Bayley on SmackDown. Bayley is the one who isn't losing, if we want to talk about hate. Bayley hasn't lost in I don't know how long, or took a pin. Sasha's took all her pins.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're doing with Sasha at the moment, because like, I know they're gonna turn on each other.
Yeah.
And I know they're probably gonna lose the titles at Backlash.
Yeah. It's 100%, and the decision will be at Backlash. I think in some way they're recreating the story of when Sasha quit or took her ball and went home, or whatever the case they're calling it, when they lost the original titles and were emotional about it, in which they're going to lose these titles but Sasha's gonna lead to her anger and turn on Bailey. I feel like that's what
I'm surprised no one brought that up. Like, I was hoping the Iconics brought that up in their promo. It's like, oh, the last time we beat you, we didn't see you for like 9 months.
Yeah, I thought they skated around it. They skated around it. They didn't actually say it, but they skated around it. But the Icons will become the new tag team champions. But I would prefer Sasha and Bailey. Now that they have the titles and that they can go to every show, that they have this trump card, I would like to see them on every show. I wouldn't mind seeing them on NXT and SmackDown and Raw and working the Charlotte Flair schedule. Like, I feel like as a tag team, they would help elevate. And Charlotte's time on NXT, I feel like she did elevate some of those people. I feel like the person that benefited the most was when she teamed up with Chelsea, who was pretty much like, she's a figure on NXT, but it's kind of like a very small figure. And that time they teamed together, I feel like she was elevated to the next level. And the time when she was fighting Ripley, and even her EO match was also a good match to help, I thought, propel.
Well, she elevated that entire division, which is something to be praised about. Like, yeah, the women's division NXT has the most depth, but not many people were talking about it as like what they could do. You just knew they had a lot of female wrestlers, but like having matches with Charlotte made them definitely step up their game.
Yeah, it made like they need to call a lot of these women up. Like, there's no reason Mia Yim should still be in NXT. I feel like her and Keith Lee could probably end up both on one of the big shows, and if they want to stay together, and Mia Yim eventually becomes a player, because the main shows, Raw and SmackDown, are really lacking in women's wrestling. And other than Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville on SmackDown, which I'm enjoying, I don't see any other wrestlers on that show. I mean, Sasha and Bailey have monopolized that title. There are no other contenders. They're like, what? Carmella gonna come back? No one cares. Like, I'm not gonna invest money into Mandy Rose and trying to win a title. There's no one on that show to actually do anything, and that's why I think they need call-ups to help support that brand and Raw as well, because on Raw you just have Liv Morgan, a beaten up Ruby Riott.
But this is now is definitely the time to start taking from NXT. Like, they have so much talent that they need to let the other fresher ones develop in NXT. I think the other ones have developed. It's time to move people around.
Yeah,
it's not like they care about the Wednesday Night War. It's like, it's not a war.
It's not. It's wrestling wise, it's whatever you want. If you want to see a wrestling show, you watch NXT. If you want to see a bunch of crazy shit or a comedy show, you watch AEW.
Yeah.
No, one thing I did notice is that, and this show is going 20 minutes past the original plan.
Well, I definitely think that we're quite close to the close, because we're talking about our last topic, which is the hatred of Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, the hatred of Charlotte Flair. Well, this is something that just popped in my mind, and I didn't even think about it. But the last 3 WWE shows have all been women main events. It was the tag team match with Bliss and Crossing them. It was Takeover with the triple threat with Io and Ripley and Charlotte. And then it was Raw with Asuka and Charlotte. It seems like WWE lately is really depending on the women to hold the fort down. And my question is, do you think it's because the men roster is right now, you feel like it may be either weak, or do you feel like they think they really have something with the women's division? Because this is extraordinary. Like, it's 3 straight shows of women main events.
I don't think it's that the men's divisions are weak. I think it's just that the stories they're telling with the women are definitely hitting with the audience, and they're producing a lot better matches. I don't necessarily think it's that the men aren't pulling their weight, because there's certainly a few of them that are. Like, if there was a title on the line, you could have probably put Finn and Damian Priest at that main event last on Sunday night.
Oh, if there's a title, I was like, what? You crazy, man? This is not.
No. If there was a title on the line, that you could have easily put that as a main event.
Yeah, there were 4 potential main events on Takeover. Like, Keith Lee and Gargano could have technically been a main event.
They could have closed the show.
The Backyard Brawl, even though it was flawed, could have been a main event. And you had the actual main event, which was oh my god, I'm blanking out. The
EO.
triple threat match, yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about it so much, I forgot.
But like that, if you look at all those all those stories, which was the better story? It was obviously the
Oh,
women.
it was the women, yeah. It was the see. Well, they had the biggest star of the group, and that's Charlotte Flair. She is the.
I don't think even if Charlotte was not even in that match, I think that would have been the match you would have closed on.
Even without Charlotte.
Yeah, there's still a good enough story between EO and Ripley.
That's a good argument. You can make a good argument for it. Yeah, you could. Yeah, actually, yeah. They had a decent story and a good run. Since we went over the 20 minutes, I may as well do overkill and keep going. Where do you see Ripley and going from here? Like, is she a call up? Does she stay down and feud with EO? She's on a losing streak.
She's on a losing streak, and I agree with what you said earlier, where you potentially see her going heel again. I definitely see I definitely feel like she flourished more as a heel, whereas like she had a run from like the build up to Survivor Series and then just after where she was a face, but it's like I feel like that moment's past now. Like it was almost like, do you know the build up for Keith Lee going into Survivor Series last year?
Yeah.
It kind of stalled a bit, like shortly after Survivor Series, because they stalled his push till he got the North American title.
Yeah, and then they gave it back to they kind of started pushing him again after Royal Rumble when he stared down Lesnar.
Yeah, so like Keith Lee is definitely like the next star, and I want him, and like I can see him because he's such a nice guy as well. A future main event title holder.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's on SmackDown or Raw. I definitely see him as one of the guys because he has the look. He may be a big guy, like a chubby guy, husky guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like you forget. It's not almost that you forget, but like you're just amazed how a man of his size is so agile.
Yeah, and his cardio is ridiculous. Like him and Gargano, I couldn't tell if he was just selling or if he was winded in that match. But it didn't seem like it was like he's exhausted and getting burnt out. But I think him and Gargano may have had the longest match. And it was, for the most part, non-stop action. Other than like when Gargano was working a little bit on the, I think, leg and eye for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
And I'll tell you who he reminds me of. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam
That's
Bigelow.
A name I haven't heard in 500 years.
Bam Bam Bigelow was agile and he had stamina. You didn't see him get blown out for a big guy that often.
Yeah,
that's true. And Keith Lee is a modern day Bam Bam Bigelow.
I like to think of him as a bigger Samoa Joe. But they all fit in the same vein of these big guys who you don't think will be able to last long of. Like Samoa Joe, Bam Bam, Vader. All these big guys who are pretty agile and just as athletic as some of the other guys. Your Ric Flair Steamboats or whoever is in their era. And yeah, I think Keith Lee is a future star. I think Ripley going heel is the best decision for her. Chasing after EO. And I feel like right now they're all in a good place. And eventually someone's going to beat Charlotte Flair, whether it's Asuka, and even down the line when Rhea finally gets called up, she can eventually fight Charlotte again and say, you've never beat me, and even in TakeOver, I had you beat. And if it wasn't for EO, I would have retained. So it's an interesting spot, and it's a good place to close it right now because I have nothing else to say.
The only thing I would go far as to say is they definitely need to call up more women because I'm getting tired of this 4 horsewomen nonsense that keeps getting brought up as like they're running the women's division when there's so much more out there.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
They always rely. I know they're probably the best they have on their roster, but the fact that they have to constantly rely on them guys feuding all the time is not a good thing because like the matches are going to get stale.
So enter Tamina,
which we haven't spoke about. She's allegedly got a new gimmick.
I don't know what that was, but I can't wait.
I seem to think it might be a mental breakdown where she becomes Sister Abigail.
Which would be good for her. She's never actually had a gimmick other than I'm going to wear leather in a ridiculous outfit and then
But I know
wrestle.
the video's been pulled. Like apparently the tweet's been deleted.
All right, so we can wrap it up right there. I hope you enjoyed this show of this Untitled show between Manny and Marcus, the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, which sounds like a title of a show, but eventually we get a title. Any closing things to say, Manny? Because I'm out. I got nothing. I'm lost for words.
If you actually get to watch this show, let us know what you think, what we can do, what we can improve. If you've got any like hot takes you want me and Marcus to talk about, just send them to us at thesharpshooters@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And episode 2 will be out probably Thursday, right? Well, we'll be recapping AEW, the Wednesday Night War, pretty much. And extensive more, probably Charlotte Flair heat. Because Charlotte will be on NXT this Wednesday because they advertised Charlotte Flair. What's her response to Io winning the title?
We might even do backlash predictions. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. And then also tune in Saturday for our pretty much the main show, the flagship show, the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast, where we break down all of this all over again in excruciating form with a lot more comedy. Because I can just go off the cuffs and I don't have to focus on hosting or time management, which apparently it looks like I tried to do what I failed to do anyway. What does it say? I just wish that they would combine all 3 women's roster into one. That would solve the problem. It would be, but then it'd be too many people going for no titles. It'd just be a women's title. Like if they gave all the women their own show, it'd be dope. Instead, cancel 205 Live.
Shout out to El Luchador TV.
Yeah, much respect for joining this. If they combined it, I feel like they're running to the issue of titles. Did I say the question out loud or did I just read it in my head?
No, you read it out.
Okay. I was concerned. I was like, did I just say that? If they combine it, they wouldn't have. There would just be too many women not doing anything. Like they currently have that problem right now of too many women not doing anything. But they would just have, let's say, Kaden Carter and Carmella having a match for no reason. And you're like, what are they actually really fighting for? Where is this going? Or Lacey Evans.
If they combined all 3 women's divisions, is he talking about having just an all-women show?
I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be honest. The all-women show could work. And as WWE has touted, the greatest, and this show had ended 3 minutes ago. But we keep going. We keep it going. It's like a Prince concert. It never is. We're gonna, if they do an all-women show, I think they could get rid of 205 Live, which is adding nothing to anybody. It has no cachet to it. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd get rid of 205 Live and have a women's show.
Or would you put? I would think you would need to put 205 that show on TV. That show couldn't just be on the network. I think that need to be on TV, especially with the women's empowerment you would get out of that.
I would keep it on the network first, just to start it out, just to test run it, see if we could get any interest. Because they get their own exclusive, like, I wonder if anybody's watching this. And it'd be one of since the network has a free subscription, it would be one of their free shows. And you'll see how many views they get off of it, just as like a test, like, I wonder if they're interested in this one. This is, but if you do that, do you just take away women's wrestling from the main roster? Would you never see Asuka or Sasha or Charlotte on Raw or SmackDown anymore? Or would it just be all men all the time? Because I feel like that would annoy me at some point.
Yeah, I think that would take away from the show. It'd be a bit like those early AEW shows where there was, like in the pandemic, when there was no women's wrestlers on it at all.
No, you get one women's segment, and AEW has been consistent. You get one women's segment, and I feel like WWE in spite is doing multiple women's segments on their shows just to say we have a lot of women that can actually wrestle, and we give them some time now, and they actually do anything. The women on AEW only get one segment, and maybe a Britt Baker talking spot.
Yeah, but if anything, they're also going. They're WWE are also taking shots at them subtly by showing more diversity in their wrestlers.
Yeah. It is shockingly enough, the most racist wrestling promotion at a time, at one point, and sexist wrestling promotion. has been the most progressive wrestling promotion in the woke era of the world. Like, they have nothing but minority champions. Women are main event every show. And it's unique. Like, everybody has a spot. Even Angel Garza and Andrade had a moment. We didn't talk about it. But Selena Vega got beat up for no reason. Because they wanted to fight for the title. United States champions, black. Both tag team champions on both shows, black. Your Intercontinental champion, Daniel Bryan, is currently, I don't know if he is the Intercontinental champion. Fighting for the Intercontinental champion, you got Daniel Bryan, who is a eco-friendly character. And you got AJ Styles, who represents the right. So you got so much diversity of all. You got the Forgotten Sons represent the Trump and his side. I mean, it is the most American wrestling show.
No. You've got the Forgotten Sons, and then you've got Jackson Riker, because the other two have distanced themselves from him.
That's true. Jackson Riker, his new tag team partner, racism. Like, if it was up to Jackson Riker, they would have just been called racist. And yeah, so I really, like, for me, I'm enjoying the WWE product lately. I know their ratings are down, but you know, the news is a hell of a drug right now with everything going on, and I think everybody should just enjoy it. I feel like there's too much complaining about all wrestling in general. At least it's on. You could be the NFL or the MLB, in which you're like, or not the NFL or MLB, but the MLB or NBA, and be like, you know, I got nothing. At least you have something with wrestling and UFC and stuff like that, in which you have something to complain about other than what's going on in our legal systems or our president systems or with pandemics. You have something else to complain about. So be thankful for all the wrestling.
And on that note, I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And I'm Marcus the Grand. Go ahead.
And remember to like and subscribe.
Yeah, just like and subscribe. I don't even care if you don't like it and subscribe it. And recommend it, share it, do what you gotta do. We're out. I'll see you later. See you Thursday for probably a more polished show where I will say 200 more times.
He is the Uminator.
I am the finale. Marcus the finale. Alright, later guys.